Michael, thank you. We'll get back to the weather in a little bit, but developing tonight, we're learning about alleged misconduct at the Niagara County Forensics Lab that, if proven to be true, could compromise criminal convictions that have relied on its analysis. Investigative Post reporting that the sister of State Senator Rob Ortt is at the center of a lawsuit accusing her of harassing and defaming two former employees of the lab when she was the director there. Geoff Kelly is associate editor for Investigative Post and reported this story and joins me live tonight. I saw this story when you published it and thought, wow, there is so much to it. Pretty damning allegations, and the conclusion of this could be really significant.
Well, yeah, so that's the thing. So it's this long-running civil lawsuit accusing Dr. Corey Ortt-Garvis of workplace harassment and defamation. But what's really interesting is that over the course of the lawsuit, these other allegations have surfaced in depositions and other testimony gathered in support of the plaintiff's claims that suggest all kinds of misconduct, including the possibility that a lab chemist who did drug analysis for criminal cases maybe was not properly certified. Now, this doesn't call into question necessarily her ability to do the work or the quality of her work, but if prosecutors represented her as being certified to provide this evidence and she wasn't, and they knew it, well, then defense attorneys could have a field day, is what experts tell me.
Yeah, defense attorneys watching this closely. Some of this stuff was filed earlier but remained under seal, right? And so we're kind of just now getting to the point where we're learning a whole lot more about, as you mentioned, an ongoing case. Much
of it is still under seal, and for the past year, much of the legal action in the case has been jockeying back and forth about whether these confidentiality designations should be removed from the testimony and these other exhibits that have been put into evidence in the court papers. There is going to be a hearing before Judge Frank Sedita, the second judge to hear this case. The first recused himself because of some of the explosive allegations contained in the evidence. But next week, Judge Sedita is meant to hear arguments about whether some of this material will be made public.
We were showing some video there of the Niagara County Sheriff, Michael Filicetti. There's an interesting quote that you include in your article from him in a deposition.
Yeah, so nearly all the defendants declined to comment, said, look at our court papers. They all deny any wrongdoing or improper relationships, which is a whole other alleyway. Yeah. But Sheriff Filicetti said, listen, I'm confident that when the facts come out, we will prevail in this case. And it is worth noting that the events at the center of this case occurred just before Filicetti was first elected in 2020. He took office in 2021. By the time all the people involved at the center of this case are gone from the lab by the end of that first year in his term.
Finally, there are some text messages that are included here and other bits of evidence, but as you mentioned, a lot of this is still under seal. What's going to happen next? When are we going to get an even clearer picture as to the allegations and where the investigation has gone?
Well, as I pointed out, Judge Sedita is meant to listen to arguments next week about whether this material, which again doesn't really go to the question of harassment so much as surfaces these other allegations. He'll hear arguments about that next week. How soon he makes a decision, we don't know.
We mentioned there also Senator Ortt's sister, of course, at the center of this. No allegation that State Senator Rob Ortt has done anything improper related to this, right?
No. His sister frequently drops his name in some of these texts, and according to depositions from former co-workers, would often mention her brother and his political influence and his ability to get funding for the lab and things like that. But he himself is not alleged to have taken any particular part in this case.
Geoff Kelly, associate editor, I encourage you to go to investigativepost.org and read the full report. Geoff, thanks so much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.